music of Mozart. And an interesting thing, it's on a G, it's on the note G, it's blue, and I have to share this with you because many years ago, when in meditation, I was taken up to the rings of Saturn. On the rings of Saturn, I landed up on the pink ring, but the other colours away from me was on the blue. I couldn't get on that blue, it was too far away. But who do you think was standing on that blue was Mozart? I thought, where did he come from? And I thought to myself, and there he was skipping away on this blue, and I said, I want to be on that blue. And then I heard my dad say, look up. And as I looked up, there was a chandelier above me with rays of light coming down, and as it touched my head, I felt these rays of light was pulling me up. And as it was pulling me up, I was going smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until I was like a baby. And my guardian angel swept me into her arms. To this day, I can say this, I felt her golden hair against my face. It was so real. And in the distance, there was a covered wagon. And out of the covered wagon came the Indian guide Rahidi, who named this church. And he said, let her go. And as he let me go, and as she let me go, I landed straight on that blue. But there was no Mozart there. He's here today. He's in this, what we're going to hear now, this sonata played by John and Iris. So you see, this has been going on for quite a long time. So as I said earlier, we don't know the plan, but the plan is definitely unfolding now. And I'm so grateful and blessed to be part of it all. And when you come forward now, you'll be coming forward with what attracts you the most, the colour that attracts you the most on these angels. And then, of course, the vibration will come on the note as well. And on the note itself, what I've discovered is we come in on a note. But through our earth experience, if we have learnt our lessons, the note changes. And I know that John will explain this to you because we were talking about it earlier. So no longer that we have the fear of death, because death will be a promotion for us. I always call it a promotion. So that we can be aware of where we have to go. I know I've got a lot of work the other side. I'm already in a team there. So I'd be glad to the time when I've done it here, I can go there. So I'm handing you over now to Iris and John.
Thank you.
Right. For those who weren't here earlier or came a little bit late, shall I mention again about you're to expect the unexpected today?
Yes.
There is definitely going to be change. Right? Every one of you here will experience, hopefully, something very positive. And sometimes when you're listening to music or listening to sound, put your thumb to your third finger on both sides. Thumb to third finger, because you're also creating a circle, but it's I call it the good feel factor. So this, so you can, I don't mind if you go to sleep when this is on, okay, when we play this. It's a sonata in G major by Mozart, and it happened by accident. I have I have a lovely pupil who wanted to learn the violin. She's doing really well with me, and I told her to get the Mozart Violin Concerto in G, and she got the Mozart Sonata in G, which at the time I hadn't played. So it's all meant because I actually love it to bits. And she's also got the other one now. So would you like to sit down for a few minutes till we call her? Sorry. Is that okay?
forward for her angel. And I can see here John has put an A, and he's put a 6, and the colour of purple is that there for the Reverend
Yes,
West.
okay. Well, what happened, what we've discovered here today, is that the guardian angel brought me through on the note A. A major, wasn't it? A major.
Yes.
But through the experiences, as you go through life, the note changes. The note changes now to an F, because when you go through life, you gain a lot of experience, you're spiritually orientated, so the soul, my soul has gained so much knowledge in this life. And the knowledge it's got to come from the heart, because it's giving without counting the cost, and it's fighting the fight without heeding news. You give, you don't expect anything in return, it comes from your heart. And so this was the lesson that I needed to learn in this life. So the note has changed now from A flat to F on this vibration of my name, which was on a number 6. And so you learn a lot from these notes and how it develops in your life. And if you're on a cross vibration and you haven't learned those lessons of accepting the things you can't change, then you realize you're only responsible for yourself in this life and what you gain out of it and what you can when you return from it. Because I came in on the 4, wasn't it? The name was on the 4,
yes.
which was the earth, you know, north to west, east to west, and north to south. So therefore, you gain from the experience of earth to the experience of spirituality that you take back with you. So it's hoping that my karmic change has completely gone, hoping that I don't have to come back again. It's a choice anyway, it is a choice. So that when you're on earth, you do realize that there are certain times in your life that karmic debt has to be solved, it has to be paid. You're only responsible for yourself, nobody else. So therefore you can't blame anybody else for what's happened in your life. To accept those lessons as spiritual growth, that was the importance of this seminar today. And so as John was discovering all this on the vibration of the name, which my grandfather named me, and it's Gwenda in Welsh, so it's got to be a good Gwen. So like I said. So hopefully I have learned the lesson. So that's what I wanted to share on that vibration. So there are other vibrations that are coming through now that Vivian will share with you.
Right, so the Reverend Gwendolyn has already had many angels, so she can have as many as she likes, but I'm thinking that it might be best then because there's a piece of music associated with the A, yes?
Yes, that's right.
All right, so if we can get forward those who have got the A, and you can play the music, and they can choose an angel, it might group them better than having people coming up at random.
Yes.
This association is with the music. So the Reverend Gwenda's got the A there.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to call out now a few others with the A's, so if they would come forward.
Can I play the...
If Iris is whoever's playing there, and the A's now, if the A's will come forward along the Reverend Jones, and they can listen to the note of their soul and also choose an angel there, and just an angel that appeals to them specifically. So we've had the Reverend Gwenda. Is there Joanne in the house? Right, Joanne, would you like to come forward and take note of the note of your soul and come forward to choose the angel there, if you would? Martin, please.
They're over there as well, okay?
They're all here.
So that's...
Yes.
Whatever appeals to you there. So we've had Martin, we've had Reverend Gwen, we've had Joanne. I'd like, is it Judith, please? And don't forget, these are purple think Klinos, but I don't think she's here. Can you take it for her? So that's Klinos, and we're still on the A's now. The note of your soul is beautiful.
We're still on the purple. Still on the purple or do we pick
Well,
it?
you can choose any colour you
Whatever
like.
colour.
Doesn't matter. Look. Yes,
Okay.
whatever.
I'll share with you.
Yeah. And still on the A's then, can we have Graham, please? A lot of A's, top of the class. Yeah.
Did you get Jackie's name in? Oh, it's a shame you didn't get Jackie's name in.
Good night.
Could you have another one for his wife?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, of
Will
course.
you give it to
Just
John?
one right side.
That's John.
Yeah.
Can't give you your name, is it? Can't give you your name and...
You can do it after, Graham.
Yeah, you can do it after.
Do it after.
Just-
There we are. So we still have the A's there. That's good. And of course, what we're saying with that is the purple in colour. The soul note is the A there, which is lovely. So we move on now. We're looking for some B's now. We've got a melody here with B minor. So we're moving to B's, Iris.
B was the number 8, wasn't it?
And B is the number 8. Yeah.
That's, and the 8 vibrates to Saturn, which is the planet of lessons and learning and restrictions, isn't it?
Are you listening to this?
Yes.
Lessons learned.
And this is not B major, this is B flat, it's a little bit different, but it's...
Right, okay, well we've got the B's
Just
there.
have a little look. Choose your angel, that's it. If we run out, we've got a few more.
And can we have, oh well Linda, our Linda is down on the violet tray and she's down for a B as well, and I would ask somebody to come forward and take something for Linda as well, so if you would do that. So that's B. And the colour of course for that is the violet, please. And Larry, can you come forward as well please, because you're on that B. And you're on that B note. That's the B still with that, and that's the violet, John.
It's the
There we are,
violet.
there'll be whatever touches the heart of you, whatever colour you like.
And over here?
Yeah, anyway.
There's an Elizabeth here on the B ray as well. On the B for Elizabeth.
That's the orange. It's like a dress.
Yeah.
We've got a Rosalie still on the B, please. Oh, Rosalie Ann. Thank you.
Oh, you knew the one you wanted, didn't you?
That is the angel of cookery.
Angel of cakes.
All the cakes I like. And we've also got a Jackie. We've got a Jackie there. Oh, I feel as though I'm calling bingo. I mustn't. Jackie, you're on the B, aren't you? The B right there, fire. Lovely.
The notes are in that they relate to the colours is approximate as colours vary in hue. So the notes vary in hue. If they're chromatic, if they go from, so you could have the B or the B flat, slightly different shade. If you played Indian instruments, you'd be able to get through more shades between the two letter names of the notes. So it's a bit like that with colour. You can go through lots of wonderful shades. So they don't treat the notes as absolute keys to your being, because it could vary slightly. But as a starting point, it's a good idea to listen to that key of music and then maybe try the flat version like Reverend Gwenda did. And you made Reverend Gwenda, I put on an A, and I think was it Mendelssohn or something I gave?
It was Mendelssohn,
so
yes. Yes.
Some of you might know that.
Yeah, and what happened? It stimulated me too much in the night. It was too much stimulation for me.
That's right, they kept Reverend Gwenda awake, so I had to suggest that she go down to A flat, which was much more calming because I chose the bass one that goes like this. Which is beautiful, isn't it?
Beautiful, Beethoven, yes.
So I don't treat it as a strict representation of your key. That could vary. And the other thing, I don't know how many of you have tried chanting your own notes. Just find a note that you're comfortable with, and you can use Ard or Om and use it to chant. And after a period of time, if you do it regularly, you get to find your own note.
Yeah. And especially with the Om in it.
Yes.
You could probably do that in meditation with
That's
the Om
right.
coming out on that note.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
There we are, lovely. So we move on then to the C's. And we've got Rhiannon on a C. If you could take that.
So we'd like to read. You can play anything in C Mozart Piano Sonata. Now this is his last piano sonata, and this is C minor.
And can we have Manai, please? Coming forward for your lecture. And Caroline is on the C as well.
What's
Now
the
that-
numbers it?
Yeah, that might be C major, not C minor, so I played for Rhiannon, so it could be this.
there, and that would be the colour of orange. So that's orange then on the D. John, time for word.
That's D.
So D is orange, but you can choose whichever colour that
Yeah.
attracts you.
Explain the colours to
Now,
them.
can I just say a bit about the colours, right? When I was doing these, I was thinking of blue hair, pink hair, orange hair I was coming up with. And then I was going around town, it's a beautiful one by the way, and I was seeing people in town with that colour hair.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, this trend, you know, first of all I was pinching myself to make sure I was alive, and all of a sudden I would make these angels, and then I was seeing people with the colour hair the next instant.
Makes a lot of sense, that makes a lot of sense.
I just have to say that I've been sitting there watching other people pick up angels, and I've had my eye on this angel from the very first time. And it didn't surprise me when you said orange. So when this lady got up first, I thought, oh no, please don't take my eye. Because that's the one that I really focused in on.
Thank you. You've got it. I need Sharon now actually, because we're going back to a B with Sharon on the violet there, because at that point that John had put the note down, and I didn't want to work it out myself. So it's B then for Sharon, which is on the violet there.
D. Oh, sorry, B.
Yes, B. So we're moving along, and we're moving on to a D, which is showing the orange there. And that's Catherine and Christine M. Not Christine W, Christine M. But a couple of Christines.
And then after you go green as the sun towards the moon,
So that's D there, on the orange. Now there are only two E's, and that's Margaret and myself. So that's, if you're going to come forward, Margaret, and take, and that's on the E vibration. The E coming in there. And the C, and the colour is yellow then, huh? And I will as well, or what? What's your fancy? I like them all. Right, okay.
That sounds like a Libra.
No, that's correct. That's my hair on the back corner. Right, there we are, lovely. And then we're moving on then, we're on the E, we're on F. We've got green there with Christine W. Christine Williams, Christine. We've got Haley. Is that it? Christine, Haley and Katrina there. All on the green. That's the F.
And some of them as well. And the ones in the front.
That's lovely. And then we're moving then to, the G. Now I want to say this. Now this is Carol with an E. There's only one. I always knew she was on her own.
So this is G.
Yes, this is only one with E. So we suspected it all along.
Vertical blue penderin.
There we are. Yes, lovely. That's blue. Anything.
Yeah, no, I've got to say, when we did meditation
now, because the colours mean a lot.
Yes, so
Now,
everybody's
those who had red in their angel, how many of you had red in your angel? The mental, emotional effects of that red is courage, stimulation, strength, and groundedness. The physical effects of this is dissipates radiation, rebuilds the liver, and helps laminitis.
And
Am I
it
right?
can also-
Laminitis? I thought horses had laminitis.
Did that's the word I remember.
Is that the word? Physical effects?
Oh, laminitis. Does anybody have laminitis?
No, I don't.
That's an allergy to lamb.
That's the only thing I can raise is laminated.
Oh, laminated, of course.
Sorry.
Oh, right, okay. Now then, orange. How many of you had orange? Right? Then the mental, emotional effects of this is self-confidence, resilience, and uplifting. And the physical effects are releases muscle spasms and strengthens bones and teeth. The yellow now, the yellow. How many of you had yellow? You had yellow, you had yellow.
And some of you will have a combination of different colours. Like
Yes.
you might have yellow wings, or yellow body, or someone might have yellow hair. So it's important to have the complete, you know, to
Yes.
yeah.
Well, it gives you mental alertness, optimism, and playfulness.
Oh, lovely.
On the mental side, that is. And on the physical side, it aids digestion, builds nerves, eliminates worms, if you got them, and helps colic.
And the ruling planets, the ruling planets of the yellow is Jupiter.
Jupiter.
Yeah.
It's a good planet, Jupiter.
Yeah.
That's good vibrations with Jupiter, you know. Now the green, how many of you had green?
Are we talking green, the colour we came up to do with that, or the angel we picked?
In what way now?
The angel you picked.
Angel.
Is it the angel you picked?
Yeah.
The angel you pick, and
All
there are
right.
various other colours come in, and then they'll explain
All
them.
right, okay.
But if it's the main colour, and I noticed some of them have different coloured hairs, don't they? That gives you. Well, it brings peace and balance and emotional calm on the mental side, and then destroys bacteria on the physical side, builds muscle and tissues, and helps infections and injuries, and you've had a lot of those.
Yeah, but I was just
I
asking.
don't
what
worry,
colour.
I'll show you, if it's mainly, you know, those colours are coming into the angel. How many had turquoise?
If you chose the purple, that's brilliant. You're in tune with purple, but you might be an earthly green, so you will be attracted to green things
Yeah, I was
as
just
well.
a bit confused. Do you know when we came up, you gave me the colour green, but I picked purple angel. So I didn't know if you're on about the colour I came up for,
Yeah.
to do with the name and the date,
Yeah.
or the angel I picked. I wasn't sure what we were talking about.
Yes, but with that colour,
Mm.
you see, comes, it's the violet more than anything, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
She's
it's
drawn
the
green.
lilac, it's a pink and purple in that, isn't it? So it gives a soothing calms and emotions, restores balance then on the mental side, and it controls the fever and relieves the pain. All right?
Yes, you definitely, you know, you might feel that you definitely need that one. So
Yes.
you obviously meant to, it's right. So, you know, none of them are wrong.
No.
It's meant for you. That's yours. And you name it if you want to, or you don't have to name it. You know, but that's yours now, and you grow with it, and you do what you want with it. But don't put it in the washing machine. Okay.
What about the turquoise? Who got the turquoise? Margaret's got the turquoise, you've got the turquoise. Now the mental, it's tranquility, restoration and refreshments on the mental side. And on the physical side, holding your angel would dissipates pain, restores vitality, helps with injuries and recovery. So that you tune in. Some of you have had that coloured hair as well. So if it's coloured hair, it definitely goes into the mind. It's all to do with the mental side of things. which is tranquility and restoration and refreshments. Anything to do with the hair is thought, is how we think, isn't it? So my dad, after he went over into spirit, we had some trouble at the time because he used to do the books for us here. And I remember there was a mistake in the figures. And knowing our dad, he'd say, think, think. And of course, I could hear him saying, think, think. And then I saw him, it was ridiculous really when you come to think of it. But you see, this is how it works in spirit, it's all symbolism. And I saw, he showed me his face with a tartan cap on his head, a Scottish tartan cap with a red tassel on the top. And I thought, what the heck is he trying to tell me? Now, he couldn't tell me face to face like we're talking here, but he said, think, think. And I realised what he was trying to tell me. Think to the top of this list, and there it was, there was the mistake. Right at the top. And he was trying to tell me that from the very top with the colours, because it's all in colour and thought. So, you know, the blue now then, who has the blue? You've got the blue. Well, on the mental side is calming, contentment and confidence. And on the physical side, it prevents itching, fights infections, soothes nerves, helps with skin conditions and burns. Okay? And cuts. That's what will help when you hold the angel. Right then. Indigo. Have you had who has the indigo? The darker ones, yeah. Well, it gives purpose, inspiration and protection on the mental side. And on the physical side, it shrinks tumours, purifies blood, tightens muscles, cleanses the system and the aura. Okay? Now the violet now. Who has the violet? Right. Yeah. The violet. That's the violet, yeah. The violet detoxifies, purifies, promotes interspecies communication. And on the physical side, strengthens the immune system, purifies, helps with West, I don't think she'd go to the Nile or Egypt, but she, West Nile virus, whatever that is, I don't know.
Oh, Lincoln is the one that you take care of.
And the purple now, who's got the purple? Right. Well, on the mental side, it soothes, calms emotions and restores emotional, and it brings emotional balance back so that you can cope with things better. And on the physical side, it controls the fever and relieves the pain. Okay, now then I've got the magenta. Who has any magenta in there? You've got magenta. If you've got any magenta in your angel, that's a magenta. Yeah, well, that comes with this. The mental and emotional balance and acceptance of things you can't change. I've added that anyway. Regulates the heart and blood pressure, adrenals, circulation, helps bronchial ailments. Just suffer with the chest, George, oh, there we are, that'll help hold your angel and think of what's come through with it. And who has pink in their angel? Any pink?
Yes.
Right. There's a lot of happiness and joy and sensitivity and lifts the spirits. I can say amen to that. And it aids in circulation. I think that's about it. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah.
Only the
John's going to add a few about the numbers and the planets.
the numbers that you had. I can tell you that the sun vibrates to number 1, which rules the Leos amongst you. The 2 vibrates to the moon, or the moon vibrates to 2, which is the sign of Cancer. Then 3 vibrates to Jupiter, which is in Sagittarius.
Yeah.
And the 4 for Uranus, which is in Aquarius. Then 5 is Mercury, which is Gemini and Virgo apparently. And then 6 is Venus, which is the rules Libra and Taurians. And then 7 Pisces, the planet Neptune, who vibrates 2. Capricorn, and the teacher, that's an 8. Saturn, and 9 is planet Mars, which is Aries, the ram. And I don't think anybody had a 0. You all got the full marks today. But the number 0 is quite important. That belongs to the planet Pluto. So, any scorpions here?
Yeah.
That would be one of your vibrations is the 0.
Is the what?
0.
Zero.
Yeah, the number 0.
But all these numbers mean a lot, but we take a lot of seminars to go through each number because it's so complex. It's working out every little minute detail, isn't it, of the personality and the person in different levels and different things. But the most important thing is if you got the starting thing there, but also you've got the key, you've got your keynote. So from that, you can listen and research different numbers quite simply and listen to different music that you might just be right for you. I've left behind here, we've left behind here the keys of the pieces we're playing today so that you will, if you want to, tune into those at one point, you can benefit. These angels are meant to connect with the higher angels. Yeah. They were made to do that. That's their purpose, is so that they would bring you healing. Certain people are finding that by putting them on their body or holding them or giving them courage, if they've had an attack or of, thinking, oh, I can't do this. Yes, you can. Or anything like that. So it can be really good. When I started doing them at the end of December it was, I got someone to show me how to make them because I didn't find that they were around October time. I couldn't find an angel. There were ballerinas. There were all sorts of things with there. There were gnomes, there were fairies, but there wasn't any angels, and we were going to be approaching Christmas, even in places like Liberties in London. There were no angels, but there were ballerinas, and somehow that got at me terribly.
Cool.
Yeah, it really terribly so. And I went to Liberties, I went to John Lewis in London, no angels, so I thought, right, in the end, the thought came, I had to make them. So I told a colleague, and she said, well, I can't do anything now, but after Christmas, on the 29th of December it was, I asked her, Katie, to come to the house and teach me and my daughter, and actually my mum, how to make an angel. And I was having a few other people as well, but none of them could come, so it was like a family event. So that's how the angels started. But then soon we found that my hairdresser wasn't well, and she'd broken her arm in 5 or 6 different places or something weird, and then she had a panic attack. So I gave her an angel, and then I started giving the angels out. And I thought, I'm never going to make all these, it took ages. And then I've given away 60 till last week. And I thought, gosh, and then I'm coming here today and we've got 90. And I don't do this sort of thing. And here I'm making all these angels, all different colours, but the colours are important. But what I'm saying is as well that when I was doing them, around me was a lot of golden light, which is unbelievable because mostly I was doing them in the evening. And it was just January, February, March, really cold, and I was getting really warm, you know, it was the energy was really hot making these, and I didn't know some of them. I thought I didn't think, because I stopped myself thinking. I thought, gosh, some of these are unusual weird colours that I was making, and all these different colour hairs. I thought, never seen anybody with hair like this. Then next instance, I saw someone in town with it, you know. So it's unbelievable how it's happening, but it's not just stopped now, it's changing.
Yeah, and I'll tell you how it's changing. A friend of ours in America asked her to participate in this experiment, and she had many blocks that were very deep emotional blocks from the time that she lost her little girl at 10 months old. And she had 2 sons, but she was, they kept the ashes of the baby, and there was no closure on it for her. So I asked her to experiment, and she said yes, if it can help. And so I asked Iris and John if they could find this vibration to come up with the music and with the angels. And she asked now for a healing angel as well, not only the guardian angel, but a healing angel. Because she said, I definitely need healing to cope with life, she said. And so, of course, the music came across was Gershwin's music, Rhapsody in Blue, which she hated. She hated it. And she said to me, oh, can I listen to this music which I hate? Well, I said, all I can tell you is what they brought through for you. And at that time, they were going to bury the ashes now. And she didn't know how she was going to go through with it, how she could cope with it physically and mentally and emotionally. Because this has gone on now for, say, 28, 30 years. And I said, well, you've got to have closure on this. I said, so try and listen to the music. Oh, it just upsets me, she said, since I was young. I didn't know why. Well, I said, obviously, it's the music. I said, maybe. I said, try it. I spoke to Iris, and Iris said she's not listening to the music. So I said, please, I said, listen to the music to remove these blocks that are within you. The grief that's there for so long that you haven't come to terms with. And now they were coming to terms with it in one way, that they were going to bury the ashes with in her parents' grave. And anyway, I was with her in thought, asking for strength for her, and she managed it fine. And from the time she listened to the music, and she had closure from the passing of her daughter, something within her released. And she said, something lifted inside me, she said. I listened to the music, although I didn't like it, but I listened to it, she said, right through. And as I listened to the music, there was a peace that came into my soul. This is how she described it. And so, you know, the angel, along with the music, can do the trick. The angel goes into the physical body, into your mind and into your physical body, so that you have a physical link then with that angel world and the healing world. And so the music then, from the composers, will open out a new dimension within you. But the notes are very, very important. This is what I personally discovered from it. So that it not only releases a lot of the emotional blocks, but it also cleanses. So it's your attunement with it. I didn't like the idea that Iris was giving them out here and there, because I felt there was a purpose to it all, wasn't I?
Yeah,
I said,
I was told off.
You have to link with this, I said.